is fast, it's empty and designed to overstimulate rather than inform. The term appeared as far back as Henry David Thoreau's book Walden. What's new though is how normal it has become. Absurd trends like the skid-beat toilet, they're often cited as peak brain rot, short video, reward repetition, speed and no context. Even classroom slang like the 6-7 we've all heard of shows how viral internet speech is bleeding into everyday life. This content is built for quick laughs and zero effort. Algorithms push what's easy to watch, not what's hard to think about. Short-form videos now dominate platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Even platforms outside social media are pushing short videos. This content is heavily algorithm-driven and designed to hold attention. Now, scrolling needs very little thinking. We all know it already. It gives quick rewards. Young people today spend around 6.5 hours online daily, with short videos taking up a large share. That's on an average. That's what data is suggesting. But that's not it. A review of 71 studies analyzing data from nearly 1 lakh participants found that heavy short-form video use is linked to poor cognition, attention span and impulse control are the most affected. These findings are based on behavioral tests and self-reported data. Another review of 14 studies shows and found heavy use linked to shorter attention spans and poorer academic performance. Users struggle to stay focused. Slow tasks like reading and problem solving become harder over a certain period of time. Now, researchers say fast-paced content leads to habituation in the brain. Users become desensitized to slower effort-based tasks. The reward system gets overstimulated by content novelty, and this reinforces compulsive scrolling habits. Now, heavy short-form video use has also been linked to depression, to anxiety and stress. Loneliness and social isolation show up repeatedly. Poor sleep and cognitive fatigue are common. About 1 in 9 children in the US had an ADHD diagnosis by 2022. Experts are now questioning whether some symptoms are being shaped by media exposure. Now, there is no proof yet of cause and effect. So how worried should parents be? What does this mean for children growing up on short videos? Where do tech platforms fit into this conversation? Let's take that forward. I do want to quickly bring in our guest this morning. Dona Singh, child psychologist, is with us along with Nikhil Chawla, who's a tech expert. Good morning to the both of you. Okay, I beg your pardon. I think Dr. Manveer Bhatia is with us this morning. Dr. Bhatia, good morning. Lovely seeing you. She's a neurologist. Who better than you, Dr. Bhatia, to really start with where the problem lies? The biggest problem being spoken of not just by parents, teachers as well, is the way children nowadays are consuming content. And the larger concern is, what is it doing to your brain? So tell us, what really gets triggered in the brain and how does it lead to a subsequent decline over the years?
When one is watching these very rapid kind of content and with no depth, what happens is there is a stimulation effect and a dopamine system gets activated, which is like a feeling good factor. This also happens if you take chocolates, sugar, or do what you like, so then you get that reward feeling. The more you get it, the more you want it. So that's why you will scroll it more. The other thing that happens is that with this, especially scrolling late at night, affects your melatonin secretion by almost 40%. This leads to a decrease in the deep sleep content. During the deep sleep, we have a process which is called as a cleaning up of the brain. So that doesn't take place. So putting all these things together, that the dopamine system is activated, the deep sleep is decreased, your cleaning of the brain doesn't happen, the morning becomes what people are calling brain fog and brain rot. And these children, because they are used to a very high level of stimulation, they find the classes, lectures very boring and they're not able to pay attention. Another thing is, because they are used to just working on the surface, they don't really like to go deeper into any problems. So those are the major things that start happening in the children's brain.
And obviously, it's more fascinating, right? The moment you're using screens, it's a lot more fun than your regular textbooks, your classroom lessons. Who wouldn't like it, especially at a younger age when you're exposed to it for the very first time? And COVID unfortunately forced children of all age groups into that pattern. Dr. Bhatia, I'll come to you in just a bit. Nikhil, we've heard so much now about how platforms are stepping up. They're also recognizing that this is a problem. And let's not really face an overall ban in the long term. So let's start doing something about it. I think it's the feeling that these platforms are trying to send out when YouTube, for instance, with its short video format, is now giving greater parental control. Do you think that should be followed? Pan social media applications, is that the way forward?
Absolutely. Good morning to everybody. So let's address the elephant in the room. First of all, we didn't lose our attention spans. Platforms learned how to capture them more efficiently. That's the way to put it across. The reason I'm saying that every minute they're churning data and algorithms are working on how to make sure that we are hooked. And when I started 20 years ago, there's long form articles that I used to write, and I'm just going to share my personal example. And, after a few years, I got comments like, it could have been a 10 minutes YouTube video. And fast forward 10 years forward, it was like, it could have been a 1-minute video. So platforms are evolving. Our attention spans are being taken away from us because everybody wants to consume content as short as possible. They want all the information, but under a minute. Even a minute is a big deal nowadays. When you're looking at your insights from Instagram, 3 seconds is your average watch time. 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, which is a shame. So like rightly put, YouTube Shorts have, kind of way to sanction, and all the apps, they've been forced upon to make sure that you can cut down on time. And, you can do this parenting, or you can control the time you spend on these apps. But that's not enough, to be honest, because what is happening is that as adults, we know that cocomelon is bad for our children, or, parents know that. But it's the same for us when it applies to doom scrolling on Instagram.
But is it all bad? Is it all bad, Nikhil? Because I think younger children are being exposed to a different form of teaching at a very early age, which possibly wasn't the case. Is why we're looking at these 4-year-old children outsmart children who possibly are 8 years old and don't have the same exposure. So is it all bad?
It's not all bad. It's just that you have to limit everything. Access of everything is bad. So what happens is, I'll tell you the example that I've decided in 2026, I'm going to cut down on my social media consumption. And the waste, I took a few steps to do that. So if you want to cut down, you would not, first thing you need to do is shut notifications of these apps. There are notifications like your friend posted something, your friend didn't post something. So what you do is just open it, you start scrolling. So if you decide a time, like, your child or your own self, you're going to give 20 minutes a day. That's about it. 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the night, you can do it. Scroll through and also put filters of the kind of data they've given to, the kind of channels they're given access to. So YouTube Kids is the best platform you can give to your children. It has content that will not show them adult content or content they should not be watching. So YouTube Kids is the best platform you can give it to them. And for you to just make sure that you need to cut down, there's things that you need to do is put your phone in night mode. You have apps that literally cut down. You can't really open that app again. So if you put an app like Forest, what it does is you have to plant trees and you have to grow them virtually. So if you leave that app and you start doing social media for longer, the plant dies and you feel, oh man, I killed my plant. So all of these gamification ways to cut down on your internet usage.
But the challenge is with children especially, the moment they know that their friends are being allowed a certain screen time, that I think is the start point to the big problem.
The peer pressure,
and you cannot get away with that one complaint or the kind of cribbing that parents have to then come across.
But luckily,
Nikhil, I'll come back to you. Donna's through. I really want to go across to her for opening comments. Hi, Donna. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I'm sure you're interacting with a lot of children, but also parents. What's the biggest concern that they're putting forth? Let's leave aside for a moment digital use, screen time. We all know that it does impact your body posture a certain way, your eyesight. It's not good for kids. But let's talk about the short content, short videos that you're just scrolling endlessly. Now, YouTube has come up with a solution, but what is it typically doing to a child's psyche, Donna?
Okay, so basically, when children get hooked to these kind of short reels, the basic reason is you're putting in zero efforts and you're getting 100% pleasure. Basically, these kind of hooks are attacking or hitting your reward system, and what is happening, it is bypassing your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, and it is directly hitting or rewarding my limbic system, my emotions. So with zero effort, I'm getting a lot of pleasure, firstly. Secondly, it is really hooking because there are times where the basic reason that we get to see is a lot of stress in today's generation. So this is a kind of an escape that I'm getting. The best thing the parents can do is it is not about zero screen time, but it is about intentional screen time. We'll make sure that the screen time is not consuming the child, but the child is actually consuming the screen. And for which the best thing is, like he mentioned it also, setting a particular time, maintaining a routine. For example, if I want my child to always use the screen only for an hour, this routine, this habit is also going to bring down the unpredictability, which is actually spiking the dopamine. So once I actually put a limit to it, once I'm maintaining a screen time, a routine, a habit, I will automatically be in that zone where I'm able to maybe maintain my emotional regulation also in a better way. And I think that is the biggest concern the parents are having in these days. They don't know how to control the child. They don't know how to bring them back to the routine.
Okay. So that's a suggestion for parents, and parents play a huge part in what children do. It's not children alone and what they want to do or what they opt for. It's how parents are also very diplomatically going about this, because that's the only option left with today's parents. Dr. Bhatia, you spoke a little bit about what really happens in a teenager's brain, in an adult's brain, and what's the reason why you're hooked onto this kind of short form content. But there are so many studies that have come through. The last few years, we spoke of a few terminologies. Brain rot is one of them. It picked up in the last 2-3 years alone. Popcorn brain, all of that has been spoken of and is being slowly recognized now. And now with these studies coming out, increasingly speaking of what it does to your brain, tell us if there are any long-term effects as well. Anything that people need to watch out for and really decode this entire conversation for us. Somebody saying that it affects the gray matter in your brain. Somebody saying, overall your brain is going to not be able to function the way it is supposed to if it doesn't consume this kind of content. Is all of that true?
Yeah, there are a lot of studies. In fact, now it's also been called as a TikTok brain in some studies. So what's happening is that we have grey matter and white matter, to put it very simply, in our brain. Grey matter is like the hardware, which is the thinking brain, the creativity, the focus, concentration, etc. It's been seen that this increased use of the scrolling type, there can be changes in the grey matter. Now the grey matter is all over the brain, but there are certain areas which get really involved. Those areas are the ones which are regulating emotions, and also like the thinking process, and that's the frontal part of the brain. So just to say that regular use of this can affect your emotions and your thinking part of the brain. Then we have a lot of fibers, sorry, the white fibers, the white matter it's called, and which is the talking or the communication part of the brain. In fact, it's been seen that this part of the brain is also getting affected. So the brain somehow doesn't talk to each other. So very nicely one article said that you want your hand to put the phone away, but the hand will not listen to you. In fact, I have a lot of people, adults as well, who are saying that I do know it is bad, I want to put the phone away, but I can't. But this could be because of another area of the brain, which is called the brake system. That brake system is not functioning too well because it's got overloaded. So you have, in teenagers or children, we see it as an impulse control problem. The inability to take a good decision. So the desire to go towards substance abuse, etc. increases because their thinking capacity, they know it is wrong, but they're not able to take a decision. So I think, to put it in a nutshell, the higher functions of the brain, the emotional regulation, the impulse control, all get affected.
Does it also impact memory in any way, Dr. Bhatia?
Change in your child.
A lot of people are speaking of brain fog, right? So you're on your phone, you're glued to your phone all day long, you're sleeping late, the last thing you do before you hit the bed is watch something on your screen, on your phone, on your gadget.
Yeah, so brain doesn't get cleaned. Children, it's been, studies have shown that increased usage has decreased their GPAs or their score systems or their cognitive ability. So definitely a scholastic ability will get affected, and your ability to concentrate and your attention span is gone. In fact, the children now do not want to play outside because that again they find very boring and it doesn't give them much excitement. Whereas looking at the phone is so exciting and so rewarding. So
I see a lot of parents
are
A lot
going
of
to
parents
become a
also
big
giving
issue in
into
life.
small little demands like I'm not going to eat my food
Yeah, lot
unless
of
the
parents,
TV is
yeah,
on.
I am-
So those 10
Yes,
15
yeah.
minutes of television
So
time is what I
keep
need while I
telling
eat
the
my food.
parents, yeah, and the parents are giving into this. So they come and say, he doesn't listen. So I am saying that, he's not going to listen, but you have to set a boundary or a control system in place. So
Okay.
this doesn't listen, will not agree, all those things come up.
Donna, let's now talk about the other side of the story. So the moment your brain is seeing a negative impact in any way, it's going to start affecting your other functioning processes, right? So anxiety starts slowly creeping in, depression becomes really a problem. Sleep issues is another thing that people have spoken of. All this is being increasingly linked to digital use, gadget use. Tell us, why is that?
Okay, see, most of the time I get to see any young adolescent, maybe around the age of 17 or 18, they always lack of depression, anxiety because I do not have a social circle. And the social circle, I do not have a social circle because the basic aging where I used to go to school, maybe 12, maybe 13, I spent most of the time with my phones and I didn't interact with a lot of kids. So my social skills are also actually going down. Now, even if I want to be friends, even if I want to communicate in the real world, I'm lacking those social skills. And I think offline relationships need a lot of flexibility, patience, which nowadays, unfortunately, children are lacking. And hence, they always revert to the online friendships. When we talk about online friendships, yes, the social pressure is way lesser. My vulnerabilities are lesser. I can curate my identity, and hence they are into the online friendship and online relationships. Yes, a lot of other aspects like my cognitive functioning, my
So is it
attention.
kicking in delusion also in a way? Are people leading a delusional life? Really,
Of
this is
course,
drifting them away from reality?
Yes, they are living a delusional life. I get to see a lot of children who have a lot of online friends, and when I ask them why not offline friends, they are like, because people don't like my looks. So in reality, they reject me. But online, I do not have to post a picture. I can just post any kind of DP that I want, and I have a lot of friends. So basically, the rejections, online rejections, are not as threatening as an online or offline rejection. So yes, my emotional health is definitely deteriorating. My mental health is definitely deteriorating in terms of not just cognitive but emotional and social systems as well.
Nikhil, the science behind what's driving this kind of content and why this kind of content is increasingly being consumed by users, there's a science behind it or a logic behind it. So you must come in on that. One of course,
absolutely.
is that people give into this biologically. We've established why that's happening in a person's mind, brain. Why do they end up giving into this kind of content? The other part is this is also a tactic which is being used by brands. So this is a PR game and it's landing well is why it's increasingly being put to use.
Absolutely. I agree with Dr. Bhatia and Donna. What they mentioned is that this dopamine rush is what everybody needs, including us, not just the children. And these apps, these algorithms, these big corporations are always working on ways to, kind of entice us and to pull them towards us. And of course, the PR factories are always working on making sure that we are consuming that content, whether it's a film release, whether it's a game release, whether it's an advertisement, with a new product launch. Everything is being pushed through social media. And with the use of AI, it's getting even more scarier because with AI, you can create anything and, you can be in your own video or they'll take a picture of yours and create a world for you. So that is scary.
You can create
and
a fancier version of yourself.
Absolutely.
You can look the
that
way
is
you
what-
want to look and feel about yourself.
Exactly what Donna was mentioning, and I was listening to that when she said that, you can put any image of yours, but now it's not just image, you can create your own avatar. And the worrisome part is not just online friends now. It can be an AI friend, which could be like telling you things that you should not be doing, to be honest. And we have seen in the past that AI friends or AI chatbots tell you to do things that you should not be doing, and that is worrisome. But, I was going through a lot of things about how children can be protected, and what the problem is that we have to give them a phone to be connected, because as parents, we are worried that how will we communicate? And there are ways to do that. There is a lot of schools in the US just allow Apple Watch. So you can communicate through Apple Watch. You don't have to give a phone to your child. And then just luckily I was going through and I just got this phone, which is the HMD touch phone, which is a phone which is like a feature phone. It is a touchscreen phone. You can communicate with your parents. There is a chat app and all in that, but there's no social media app. So it doesn't feel like you don't have a phone. You have a phone in your hand, you have a touchscreen phone, but it is limited to an app which is just to communicate with your parents. So phones like these efforts that companies are making is something that I really appreciate. And I feel that there has to be a way to churn them down. And for social media consumption, I would recommend few steps to parents that they have to follow. First of all, there has to be a routine. You have to give them 20 minutes in the morning, in the evening, whenever you think it's suitable. And it has to be supervised. You can't be there watching anything. That is also something you have to, there are games like Roblox where they think they're just playing a game, but it's a different world. They're doing a lot of things they should not be doing. There's an AI world they've created in Roblox. So you have to do that. Make sure that notifications of social media apps are shut, because every time you see a notification, you just go to see that notification and then you're doom scrolling for hours. Then there is a mode called grayscale mode. Just give your child phone in grayscale mode, because a lot of color simulation, over simulation like Cocomelon and all, it's not there. It's black and white. It takes off interest. And of course, then I mentioned apps that really lock that app so that the child cannot open that app. So these steps, if they follow, I think everything under control is fine.
Okay, lovely. So we're going to be making quick notes on that. For all parents watching this, just hear this out. And these are the first few steps possibly you can follow. Mindset is the long-term thing that has to be sustained. Dr. Bhatia, you spoke of something very interesting right at the beginning on how these reels and short videos trigger the brain's reward system like it does in gambling or when you're eating or consuming sugar. I found that particularly interesting. But now, since we're getting down to solutions, let this round of conversation be about what can be done then. You spoke of how people want to keep their phone away, but they're not able to. So what can be done? How can you reverse this habit?
So exactly like we have any other form of addiction, first is the decision or the mindset that, okay, I need to break this. And before that, the awareness comes that, yes, it's doing something to me. I do have some teenagers coming who are saying that, this is making me anxious. So they recognize it. I think, as Nikhil said, the first thing is to try and keep this in the off mode and limit time use in the daytime. This is for adults. Children, of course, the rules are very, very strict and different, that they're not supposed to use it every day in any case. But set timings have to be put. And in that time, you can use it. Besides the time, it should be off. We are also very particularly concerned about this pre-bedtime use, because that doesn't end. It just gets right way into the night. So again, fix a time. We are saying, okay, if the children are saying, like, who are teenagers, that we want to use it, you use it, but fix a time. And the phone has to be switched off, not kept in the on mode or a silent mode, vibration mode near your bed, and go and put it away. It will create a feeling that something is wrong, I'm missing something. You might feel low, you might feel sad.
That's what I was
also,
asking.
But you overcome that with some, action.
How can you replace
item
it?
That you can
what can you replace it with, Dr. Bhatia, so that a child doesn't feel the negative impact or the withdrawal to that extent that stops them from really going ahead with this?
So if it's a child, the parents then need to put in some action. So either you spend that time with the child, take them out for a game, take them out for something else, spend the time. But the child cannot sit by themselves and say, okay, I will not use. I mean, that won't work. So you play a game with them, you play a board game with them, start doing something like that. Make sure that you are interacting with them and helping them overcome that time period.
Okay,
so then gradually they will get used to it. And give it some time. It's not going to happen in a day or two.
It will not happen overnight.
So you have to be very patient and understand. It will not happen overnight.
Okay, Donna, very quickly, what are those signs?
Brain, I just want to add another word, is this neuroplasticity. So just to remember that the brain will recover if you just give it some time.
Okay, patience is the key to success here as well. Donna, very quickly, what are the warning signs, early warning signs that parents must watch for that screen time is now turning harmful for their children?
Okay, firstly, I would want all the parents to understand, as a child psychologist, I always get to see children with their parents only when they are deteriorating academically. Otherwise, they don't see it as a problem. The sad part is, and hence, if you are trying to bring them to us only when they are deteriorating academically, they are the older children. I mean, in their class 6, in 7th or 8th or 10th. The damage is already done. It is way more difficult to, control or manage emotionally a child who's already 15-year-old. It is way more easier if you are trying to manage the child's emotion when he's 6 or 7. So yes, bringing the child early and not trying to bring him only to us when he's academically deteriorating is the first problem that we see in parents. Secondly, as warning signs, the first sign is when children prefer gadgets over people. I don't want to see a relative, I don't want to see a friend, I don't want to go out with you, but I don't want to go to the park also, I just need my phone. I remember children coming to us, and when I try to, ask them, what do you want? You want a car, you want your friends, you want to go to the park, and they're like, no, we are okay with phones. So the gadgets have already taken into their life. It is dominating. The screens are dominating their life. So the first warning sign is when I prefer isolation, when I'm preferring gadget over any kind of human interaction. Secondly, irritability, mood swings. Whenever my parents want to take away the phone, I'm not okay with it. It is like a withdrawal taking in my body. So irritability, mood swings, emotional dysregulation, detachment. I don't want to sit and eat food with my family, but I want to use it while I'm watching TV, while I'm watching a screen. So my detachment with my parents, my bonding with my parents are also going low. These are all basic warning signs. It doesn't have to be really the academic deterioration when you actually bring them to us.
Oh yes, so we've established very clearly that endless scrolling does hold a lot of power on our mind, on our brain, on our body for a reason, scientific reason, but immediate intervention is the need of the hour, timely intervention is the need of the hour, otherwise there are long-term consequences that come with this mindless scrolling, addiction to the phone. Thank you so much, that's all the time we have. Thank you to the three of you for joining us this morning on The Breakfast Club.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we head into a very quick break. Coming right up, we shift our focus to our person of interest, Rahul John Aju. He's a teen AI prodigy from Kerala. He's been developing AI tools since he was 6-7 years old. Currently 16, he has lots of plans in place for what he wants to do in the future. We'll be going over to this Gen Z brilliance in just a bit.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
French President Emmanuel Macron is urging Europe to protect its economies better, emphasizing that Europe is the only one respecting rules, while others, including China and the US, don't respect the level playing field. The statement comes amid Trump's tariff threats on EU countries over Greenland, which Macron calls unacceptable. Macron is pushing for the EU to activate its anti-coercion instrument, a powerful trade tool that could limit US access to EU markets, impose export controls, or restrict public contracts as well. This move is seen as a response to Trump's aggressive trade policies and China's unfair trade practices. Breaking news coming in. Trump reacts to taking over Greenland. On being asked as to how far will he go to take over Greenland, says you will find out. Denies that US taking over Greenland could break up NATO. Says nobody's done more for NATO than I have. So that is a major statement that is coming in from Donald Trump, and we'll listen into what he said.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out. I think something's going to happen that's going to be very good for everybody. Nobody's done more for NATO than I have, as I said before, in every way. Getting them to go up to 5% of GDP was something that nobody thought was possible, and pay. At 2%, they weren't paying. At 5%, they are paying. And they're buying a lot of things from us, and they're giving them, I guess, to Ukraine. That's up to them, but they're giving them to whoever they're giving them to, but they're buying a lot. I think that we will work something out where NATO is going to be very happy and where we're going to be very happy.
And we are joined by Siddhant Mishra on this broadcast. A very good morning to you, Siddhant. Siddhant, The real question is, how will this work out, as we know that European forces are already there in Greenland? This could potentially lead to World War III. What do you make of this?
Well, look, Harsh, given the statements coming from President Trump and the European leaders, perhaps it has become a major sticking point now between Europe and the United States, because the European leaders are fully backing Denmark and its right and its control over Greenland, where on the other end, President Trump does not want to back off. He is also adamant that the United States will acquire Greenland by all means. Now, today President Trump is going to be in Davos, and in fact, there were two meetings which were proposed to him. One meeting is for the Gaza peace plan. He has invited several countries to be the part of the board, which he is chairing. In fact, several countries have accepted the offer, but many countries are still hesitating to accept the offer, like United Kingdom and the other countries. So perhaps that is also something which President Trump is not liking. Second, President Macron proposed a meeting for President Trump in Paris of the G7 leaders, which perhaps will not be taking place now, given the war of words between President Trump and President Macron. In fact, yesterday, speaking at the Davos, President Macron was on a full attack mode, perhaps talking about tariffs, additional tariffs, using several mechanisms to save the Europe, and how perhaps saying that Europe is slow, but Europe is driven by law, things like that. So given the statements coming from the world leaders in the last 48 hours, perhaps everything is not okay in transatlantic relationship, and the cracks which people used to talk of before perhaps are now very much visible. So it's not just President Macron, it's Ursula von der Leyen, it's Mark Carney. Perhaps all have spoken.
Welcome back. Artificial intelligence is everywhere right now. It's in our phones, our jobs, our classrooms, but most conversations around AI swing between panic and hype. Our person of interest this morning is a young voice who talks about AI without the fear-mongering or the fancy language. Rahul John Aju is a teen who builds and experiments with AI tools and, more importantly, explains how they work in simple terms. He breaks down what AI actually does, where it helps, and where humans still matter. Let's quickly go over to him. Hi Rahul, good morning. Thanks for being with us here on the Breakfast Club. Where you're seated looks really fascinating, this place. Where are you right now?
Hi, thank you so much for calling me. And in fact, this is my studio. So this is where I take all the classes and where I record all my content from.
Look at you talking about taking classes at just 16. So Rahul, tell us, when did you first discover your fondness for AI, that it could be more fun than outdoor games, video games? Tell us about the background story here.
I mean, I do technically still play games. I still do try to go out. But at the end of the day, I guess you could say like, it was never like, okay, that is the date where I discovered it. It was like a slow thing because in fact when I started, I was very much interested in content creation. Then I went over to start doing classical dance, which I did get second place in district level and all. Then I did marathons like 14 kilometers, 15 kilometers. I loved running. Then, so I just tried to do different things, acting, this, that. But there was a certain point where COVID came and I was like, okay, now what do I do? So in fact, my father was working in Adobe. So I got access to all the premium editing softwares out there. And I was like, okay, full on learning, editing. But here's the problem. So after COVID went, which was kind of like a bad thing for me. I don't know why. But at that point, I was like, what do I do? Like, I have to go back to school. How do I manage everything? I want to still upload videos to my YouTube. I want to edit them. But so I found this AI tool that does this whole editing literally 3 to 4 times faster. And I was literally so much blown away by it because what took me 2 months to edit a normal video and shoot it, with this AI, I could edit that same video in 2 days. What took me 2 months in 2 days. Imagine, that's how quickly I could produce content now because of AI. Now back then, I didn't know it was AI and all, and I was like, it's just a tool, but I was wondering how this worked. How did it replace what I was doing? And that was the point where I got into AI.
You know, I can't get over the fact that your father at that young age gave you access to the software tools that you just spoke of. So kudos to him too for placing that kind of faith and trust in you. But Rahul, tell us, do you think the Indian education system is ready for students like you? Be honest with us.
If I'm being honest, and I have to be, it's not. Right? So there was stuff like NEP, that was, National Education Policy of 2020, that was supposed to change these stuff, but in fact it did not. And I feel no school is ready for, I'm not saying about me because I'm something special, but any kid out there, right? Because everyone has their own peculiarities, their own dreams, right? What they want to achieve. They have to find their passion. And what school does, rather than, teaching them how to think, school teaches them what to think, and that is not the right way to do it.
Okay. Rahul, you're creating content around AI tools, you're giving lectures on AI. Where do you think India is currently at in the AI race, and what do you think we need to do right now?
So I always say this thing, India should not join the rest of the world's race, rather create its own race, right? So what do I mean by that? Specifically, I believe that, so right now I heard my father shared me a link yesterday about how India is planning to create their own GPUs and servers, the government, and they're going to start renting it to people way cheaper than what US and all is doing. So here people could start using these servers and create their own stuff. But I believe, yes, we are giving them the opportunity, but to take advantage of that opportunity, kids need to know what is AI, right? In fact, so today I taught what AI in my school. So that is one of the first, but I did that, and actually my friends and all were fascinated with that concept. So fascinated, they started asking me questions like, can we create advertisement from this? Can we do this? So the point is, rather than just being consumers of AI, we have to tell everyone to be creators of AI. See, I create my own AI, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest, I don't use ChatGPT API and all, but I'm still using these Chinese open source models, fine-tuning them and using it for myself. So it's not there in China, I'm making it myself. But at the end of the day, as Indians, we don't have our own good model. Even the server models or others, they're not the best, frankly put. So we need another path. We need to create our own race, right? If that makes any sense.
Okay, that makes all the sense. Rahul, now tell us, we were just going through your social media feed. Very recently you interacted with Shashi Tharoor, and that interaction went viral on social media, I must say. What was that conversation like?
So in fact, I have this series which I do, like asking these celebrities and popular people, like, what do you use AI? What is AI, right? And they in fact go very popular. Like, I think the other day, Shashi Tharoor sir, I was in the train and we were going to the Niyama Sabha, right? Like the Lok Sabha or the main Kerala Legislative Assembly.
Yeah.
And while I was going there, so I was taking a session there. So while I was going there, in fact, my father was just walking through the train, like Vande Bharat. And he saw my father, he saw Shashi Tharoor sir there, and he's like, Rahul, you gotta come, he's here, you gotta ask him. And then I just went, did my thing, you could say I just went him, asked, and I even recorded the video. He posted it on his Insta X, it went super viral. But the main thing which I got from that, what I wanted to prove, so why I do this series, like asking these celebrities or big people, even Sanju Samsung, a lot of celebrities, everyone, is that, why do you use AI? To show that if Shashi Tharoor sir can use AI, who knows the best English, if all these people can use AI, then why not you guys? Why aren't you using AI, right? That is the whole thing about this, you could say this type of content that I do, the series which I'm doing on Insta and YouTube. Because I do go for a lot of events where I do meet these very influential people. So yeah, just doing that.
So you're spreading awareness around AI, you're wanting people to have all the right tools to understand how they can put AI to best use. Rahul, lovely, tell us, I'm sure there are children who still come to you, children your age who come and ask you, but AI is too hard for me. What do you tell them?
The best thing I would say is, it's not, right? Everything in the starting is the most hardest thing ever. But at the end of the day, it could be, once you just start learning it, it's the most simplest thing. That is why, right, I don't want to promote it like that, but the reason I created 2 of my courses, which are both completely free, I'm not selling anything else, I'm not getting anything out of it, but the reason I did 2 courses, one from going what is AI to building your own AI in 30 days, that was one challenge. I had another challenge going from, what is AI to using AI as a student, as a builder, as literally, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, how to use AI in your daily life. One was literally about creating ChatGPT from what is AI, right? So I had these 2 courses combined. They right now, if you check, it has around 7 lakhs views combined, all of them, right? Both the courses. So it shows that people actually want to learn AI, and once they watch the first video, then they're like, okay, what is day 2? What is day 3? They're very much interested to learn more, and I feel that's what. So if they can and I can, then definitely anyone can do it.
I'm still trying to figure out how you're doing all of this, all these conversations, lectures, education that you're imparting onto other people. How are you doing it while studying? Okay, but anyway, Rahul, let's talk about AI tools you swear by. For everyone watching, they'll be wondering ki hame bhi bataiye. So for creators, businesses, educators, if you'd like to share a few, give us a few names.
Okay, I guess I'm ready to always share, because why not, right? Let's grow it together. So I guess my main AI, surprisingly no one would expect, is ChatGPT. I can't live without that. The second one, obviously, it would come to, for studies I use StudyFetch. It mostly converts your textbooks and all into games, into literally videos, into, it's a full tutor, right? AI tutor, you could say that. There is Synthesia also for education. Now for creating presentations, I take a lot of presentation in all these colleges, schools, right? Even here and outside. So whenever I do that, I use AI to create presentations as well. There is one like Kimi AI, which is pretty cool. It creates presentations with Nano Banana. Yeah, an image generator being used to create presentations. Imagine that. So businesses, I guess you could say, because everyone has to create a presentation as an employee or as a business owner. And for marketing, let's say Head AI. I mean, I could always go on, like content creators, VidIQ AI, but I guess I should stop there. But you could always find more on my Instagram and on my YouTube, Rahul the Rockstar.
Okay, lovely.
Marketing.
Rahul, tell us, where do you see yourself at 25? Are you going to be in India? Do you have other plans? Silicon Valley maybe? Or are you looking at building your own AI company?
It's a very good question. It's like an interview question. I mean, I don't have a plan like till the age of 25, I want to earn $1 million doing this, do that. At the end of the day, here are a few things, right? So right now I want to grow my company ARM Technologies. I've created a lot of tools and I want people to start using it, and I want to create an impact where people want to use these tools and it's making their life way easier. Just like we have UPI in India, I want something like that just for the whole world. I want people's life to be easier with or without AI. My aim is that make the world a better place, and always I'll be going through that goal, right? And also my goal is also a monetary goal, I guess you could say, is also reaching 1 million followers soon on Insta and YouTube. So yeah, I guess that's also there.
Okay, the love for content creation is not going anywhere. Rahul, do you get this very frequently? Do you hear people tell you you're way ahead of your age? And a lot of Gen Zs actually are getting that. So anything you'd like to say about this whole commentary around the Gen Z way of life?
I mean, I would just say, just let everyone be. Because this whole thing about, Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, this, that, it's just from 1 year to 1 year. I could be a Gen Alpha 1 year later, right? But what I believe is, because of that, people are actually falling into those categories. One special thing about Gen Zs, which I feel, is that we never kind of, let's say, going for work, right? When we go for work, we won't be wanting to be mistreated. We're like, okay, I don't care, and I would just leave, quit, right? That's one, it's very, mostly all Gen Zs are very spontaneous. They take decisions very fast. That's one thing I've noticed. But I would also say, more than this is that being obsessed with social media, or let's say the internet of things, is if you guys had internet, let's say millennials had internet, or let's say even baby boomers or had internet, everyone would be doing the same thing. They would obviously be obsessed with this. They had televisions, they loved it, right? So I believe it would be same, right? It's not just because of generations. So yeah, that's what I feel.
And Rahul, you are one of the last of the Gen Zs. Why you're coming out to defend them so aggressively? But thank you so much. It's been lovely having you on the Breakfast Club. All the very best with your AI tools, and hope you continue to inspire and motivate the young India. Thank you for joining us on the Breakfast Club. All right, with that, we shift our focus to the world of sports. India begin their final World Cup rehearsal against New Zealand with form and combinations in focus. Surya Kumar Yadav led a settled side under pressure. Ishan Kishan moved to 3, and the return of Hardik Pandya and Bumrah have sharpened the title defence. Here's more.
India begin their 5-match T20I series against New Zealand with the World Cup clock ticking loudly. Less than 3 weeks before the title defense, this is the final dress rehearsal. Strong opposition, home expectations, and a captain under the spotlight. Under Surya Kumar Yadav, India's results have been outstanding. 18 victories in 25 matches. Abhishek Sharma has provided rapid starts. Varun Chakravarti and Kuldeep Yadav have strangled teams through the middle overs. The return of Hardik Pandya restores balance, while Jasprit Bumrah sharpens the attack. But the concern is obvious. Surya Kumar Yadav's bat has been quiet. A tough 2025, no 50s. Bowlers have found a method, and leadership at this stage needs runs. A key tweak comes in the batting order. Ishan Kishan will slot in at number 3. He is in red-hot form and best used early, inside the power play. That keeps Surya Kumar at 4 and likely sidelines Shreyas Iyer. It's a call driven by World Cup planning, not sentiment. New Zealand, on the other hand, are no pushovers. They arrive with confidence after recent success in India. Devon Conway at the top, Santner steady in charge, Mitchell and Phillips providing muscle, Jacob Duffy leading the pace unit. 13 victories in 21 T20Is since the last World Cup underline New Zealand's threat. The series is about clarity and momentum. India lock combinations while New Zealand test readiness. Every performance counts because from here it's a straight run into World Cup pressure, and form right now travels fast.
And now zooming out a little, shifting our attention to stories from across the country and around the world. First, the Centre's pollution watchdog lifted stage 4 restrictions under the Graded Response Action Plan in Delhi NCR as the city's air quality showed a few signs of improvement. The Commission for Air Quality Management said in an order that measures under stage 1, 2 and 3 will continue to remain in force. Delhi's average air quality index came down to 395, which still falls in the very poor category. Ahead of Republic Day celebrations, Jammu and Kashmir police have intensified security operations across the district with a special focus on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway. Enhanced security measures have been put in place at key locations including Kazigand and Navayuk Tunnel as well as other sensitive points in the district. The iPhone 4 launch in 2026 seems inevitable. The company has stayed far away from the foldable race, but just like its AI impetus, the entry in this segment is hard to avoid anymore, which is why there are some big bets being placed on the iPhone 4 model that could be part of the premium lineup later this September. The iPhone 4 could feature book-style design and carry a 7.8-inch main inner and 5.3-inch cover display. Apple iPhones have been costlier than before. We expect this first foldable to be a premium product from the brand. Speaking of phones, OnePlus 16 is shaping up to be a hardcore upgrade on the latest flagship device from the company. It could finally get a meaningful camera upgrade and also join the big battery battle in 2026 among other names who have already done this. It also highlights the use of a bigger Glacier battery, which hints at a 9,000 milliamp hour sized battery pack on the next flagship from the brand. And Google is also doing every bit to limit people side-loading apps on Android devices, and the company is reportedly lining up another change that may act as a new security layer for the users. Google is already warning Android users about the possible ill impact of installing apps from any source other than Play Store, and soon it could have a new way to tell you if the app you are downloading is coming from a genuine source. The new Play Store version beta code strings spotted by Android Authority in its report claims Google wants to use the internet to help users verify the authenticity of the developer whose apps they are sideloading on their device. The much-awaited funicular railway of Switzerland, like cable cars at Malangarh or Haji Malang near Kalyan in Thane district on the outskirts of Mumbai, are now operational. With this modern railway, the 2-hour walking journey of devotees will now be completed in just 7 to 10 minutes. The railway is expected to boost tourism in the region. The construction began in 2012 and was completed just last year. US Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha Vance are expecting a baby boy late July. The couple announced this on social media. The child will be their fourth, joining their 3 young children, Ewan, Vivek and Mirabel. And Vance, remember, is 40, his wife 41, his wife 40, said both mother and the baby were doing well. The announcement also comes as J.D. Vance has for years made declining birth rates a central theme of his political messaging. The Republican leader also frequently argued that US needs to encourage larger families and reverse demographic decline. As per industry buzz, global rap icon Kanye West is reportedly planning his first ever concert-led visit to India. According to reports, the rapper may perform in the country in April this year. If confirmed, this would mark a significant moment for India's live music scene, given his global influence and massive fan following. However, an official announcement from the artist or the organizers is still awaited. Renowned British broadcaster Piers Morgan has shared a health update that has left fans concerned. Taking to Instagram, he revealed that he suffered a hip injury after an unfortunate fall, explained how the incident happened, and assured followers that he's receiving medical care. The broadcaster also shared details of the precautions he has been advised to follow during his recovery. Fans and well-wishers have flooded social media with messages wishing him a speedy recovery. Actor-director Ben Affleck is sparking online conversations with his candid take on artificial intelligence during an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience. He questioned the growing hype around AI and its potential to replace creative professions like writing and filmmaking. Also suggested that much of the excitement is driven by financial interests rather than genuine creative capability. And animation lovers around the world are mourning the loss of Roger Allers, co-director of Disney classic The Lion King. Allers, a key figure in Disney animation golden era, passed away at the age of 76. His death was confirmed by longtime collaborator and visual effects supervisor Dave Bossert, who described him as an extraordinarily gifted artist and a true pillar of the Disney animation renaissance. Allers' work continues to inspire generations and shape childhood memories worldwide. That's all from me. For now, we're not done as yet on The Breakfast Club. We'll be right back after a very short break.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
French President Emmanuel Macron is urging Europe to protect its economies better, emphasizing that Europe is the only one respecting rules while others, including China and the US, don't respect the level playing field. This statement comes amid Trump's tariff threats on EU countries over Greenland, which Macron calls unacceptable. Macron is pushing for the EU to activate its anti-coercion instrument, a powerful trade tool that could limit US access to EU markets, impose export controls, or restrict public contracts as well. This move is seen as a response to Trump's aggressive trade policies and China's unfair trade practices. Breaking news coming in, Trump reacts to taking over Greenland. On being asked as to how far will he go to take over Greenland, says you will find out. Denies that US taking over Greenland could break up NATO. Says nobody's done more for NATO than I have. So that is a major statement that is coming in from Donald Trump, and we'll listen into what he said.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out. I think something's going to happen that's going to be very good for everybody. Nobody's done more for NATO than I have, as I said before, in every way. Getting them to go up to 5% of GDP was something that nobody thought was possible, and pay. At 2% they weren't paying. At 5% they are paying. And they're buying a lot of things from us, and they're giving them, I guess, to Ukraine. That's
Welcome back. We return with this special section on financial markets powered by Money Control. Pro Money Control's premium destination for investing in business insights. GIFT Nifty is indicating a stable opening for Indian stock markets. Asian stock markets decline in morning trade amid heightened geopolitical tensions. US stock markets close lower as fresh tariff threats by President Trump induce market volatility. Gold and silver prices also hold at record highs on demands for safe haven assets. Shifting our focus to a few sectors, in particular, the hotel industry upcycle that began in financial year 23 is expected to sustain over the near to medium term. The demand is likely to grow at 11.4% CAGR over financial year 25 to 30, driven by healthy economic growth, rising incomes and trend of travel and outdoor weddings. While supply is increasing, it would grow at a slower pace of 9.9%, and favorable demand-supply dynamics would sustain the profitability for hotels. So don't forget to log into Money Control Pro to find out more about India's hospitality sector and other actionable insights. Well, that's all we could pack for you in today's edition of the Breakfast Club. Thanks for staying up with us for this last 1 year. Lots more interesting stories coming up through the week. Don't forget to keep tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Bye-bye.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
French President Emmanuel Macron is urging Europe to protect its economies better, emphasizing that Europe is the only one respecting rules while others, including China